Yo, so I've seen the FNAF2 movie. I actually did on the release day, but I haven't made a video about it. So let me yap about it right now. First things first, if you haven't seen the movie yet and you uh, don't want it spoiled, I will spoil major plot points, even show some scenes uh, during this video. So if you don't want that, don't watch. Uh, yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure you can watch the entire thing online if you can't afford the movie theater experience. Though I would strongly advise watching it in the movie theater because frankly, the audience reaction is half of the experience. It applies both to the first and the second movie. I think I think the people who are watching the first movie with me were a bit crazier than in the case of the second movie, but overall, I think overall it was kind of fun. People were talking. I could hear them whisper about the lore. I could hear them scream sometimes or yell some random stuff. At the end, everyone was clapping, which was a bit silly, but okay. Uh, yeah, basically, the entire room was filled with teenagers, at least at my screening about 2 weeks ago at this point. Yeah. Um, General thoughts, I'd say it matched my expectations. It was even better than the first movie. Uh, and I did like the first movie, though the criticisms many people had, I would also have for the first movie, also applied in the case of the second movie. So there are some things that are maybe not to my liking in the concept of these movies. First thing is that it's a horror franchise, and I understand that FNAF has many children fans, but making the movies PG-13, if I remember correctly, it's a wild move, in my opinion. I kind of do like FNAF precisely for this reason. That you don't see anything crazy happening on the screen most of the time, but the implications of the lore of the story are the scary part. I actually like this way of storytelling and this kind of horror. Um, Frankly, recently I had thought that many of those franchises that I would call horror for kids are more like detective mystery franchises. Like you're supposed to uncover some murder mystery. It's more about that than the horror itself, though there are obviously horror elements, even paranormal horror, and the entire plot is basically like body horror and child murder. So those are pretty strong subjects, but yeah, by making the movie PG-13, we don't see much happening on the screen, and that's what I expected. That's the same as in the first movie, but sometimes it kind of spoils the experience. Second thing, why I like this movie better than the first one, I will speak very generally. I don't want to yap too much, but the second movie I think was heavier on the lore. I think the first movie was kind of general introduction to the franchise, and they kind of pulled elements from all over the story. I've even seen the game theory video that those movies are kind of supposed to be a compressed story, like they pull Vanessa from the very, very late era of FNAF, like Security Breach. But then the first movie is mostly about the story of FNAF 1. In the second movie, I think they followed the plot of the second game more precisely. You have the new toy animatronics. For whatever reason, the first animatronics are broken, and that's kind of the main plot point, that Abby, yeah, that's kind of the main plot point, that Abby wants to communicate with her friends, those first animatronics, or rather the spirits of the children that possess those animatronics, but they're broken. She can't contact her. Mike says that he will fix them, but he seems unable to. Yeah. One scene I really, really liked, and you can see it on YouTube. It's actually the very, very first scene, the introduction, the flashback. In the beginning, it happens in 1982. Is the backstory of the puppet, the marionette, how Charlie Emily was killed, how the possession acted. I will show you. Like I said, you've probably seen the movie, but yeah, a quick reminder. This isn't the very best recording. It's low quality, but it's fine, and it's also cut a lot, but it contains the most important elements. Yeah, so we have Charlie Emily at some kind of birthday. She sees a boy or some kind of child getting snatched by the spring bunny, the yellow rabbit. She runs up to adults, parents, one after another. They all ignore her. That's supposed to be young Vanessa, by the way. That's interesting. Yeah, she goes to the back rooms herself. She sees Afton doing God knows what, washing the dishes. The boy is unconscious, not dead, just unconscious, laying on the floor. Whenever she grabs the boy, she runs through the hallway. Afton notices her, walks up very, very slowly for some reason, stabs her in the back twice, I think. It happens off screen, but it's obvious. Yeah, she walks up to the stage, yells out of frustration, fury at the parents who didn't help them, adults who didn't help her. The boy gains consciousness. She falls on the scene. Everyone sees her wounds. And yeah, then the hatch opens. She falls into the hatch, into the hands of Marionette, who rises onto the stage holding Charlie. Yeah, I've seen many people commenting that the way the puppet holds Charlie is similar, reminiscent of the way Charlie was holding that boy. And also it's the reference to the Henry speech from the ending of FNAF Pizzeria Simulator. The way you were holding others. As Henry talks to his daughter, he says that she was helpful person helped other children using this metaphor of holding in their arms, not hands, arms. But yeah, I've seen this reference, that's kind of obvious. I think what's maybe less obvious, especially if you're not informed about Christian art, this reminded me of a very classical motif in Christian art. I even have the Wikipedia page pulled here. Pietà, that's how it's pronounced in Italian at least, meaning piety, compassion. Is basically the depiction of Mary, the mother of Jesus, holding his dead body in her arms, implying, depicting the agony of a mother experiencing this miraculous birth and so on, wonderful life, having wonderful child who then gets killed despite being innocent for no good reason. Yeah, the way the puppet holds Charlie in her arms is kind of reminiscent, I think. I wonder if Scott did it on purpose, because we know Scott is Christian, which is not that unusual in America, but yeah, he's Christian. Maybe that's a reference on purpose, that puppet is supposed to be this mother figure, and Charlie is some kind of unjust, perhaps, sacrifice, but she was killed unjustly like Jesus. I also like this little detail that when the puppet is raised up onto the stage, she holds Charlie in their arms. You can see the puppet moves her head slightly. I think kind of doing a judgmental look at the adults. I really like this scene in general. What more can I say? What else? As I said, second movie, I think it followed the plot of FNAF 2, the game, more precisely than the first movie did with FNAF 1. Though there are quite a few elements that are different. Well, backstory of Charlie, first of all, is a bit different. In the game, we see that she's killed outside of the pizzeria, and Puppet walks outside and kind of hugs her body. Though I'd say the symbolic meaning of her death and possession stays the same. Maybe I even like this version, the movie version, better. What else? There are quite a few minor changes. I think the biggest reveal, and okay, I may be a bit ignorant, you can correct me if anyone watches these videos at all, but if someone does, you may correct me, because I think people weren't sure whether there were actually dead children inside the FNAF 2 animatronics, the toy animatronics, and whether the withered ones were the same as the original ones. I know there are many theories about that, but there was no consensus among the fans. At least in the movie universe, we see that there were the original dead children who possess the FNAF 1 animatronics. Then you have Puppet, who is possessed by Charlie, the daughter, the child of Henry and Emily, the co-founder of Fazbear, alongside Afton. And she's actually the only spirit for all those FNAF2 animatronics. The puppet can remotely control all of them, and that's how they kill. She instructs them to attack the adults. And you also have the wizard animatronics, who are separate from the first ones. I won't tell the entire story. That would be a bit ridiculous, but long story short, we have Abby trying to contact the first animatronics who are broken for some reason. But she gets tricked by FNAF2 animatronics, who pretend to be the first ones, be the same spirits, but it's actually the puppet manipulating Abby, trying to escape the original pizzeria. And the puppet succeeds. And the big point is that Charlie, or the puppet, tries to take revenge against all parents. Perhaps specifically the parents that did ignore her, but also just parents in general. Like, she uses the toy animatronics to break into random homes, kind of talk to children, kind of groom them, you could say, in a way. It's not sexual, but yeah, trying to gain their trust. And then they try to kill their parents because Charlie, she's left with this emotion of being betrayed, frustrated, dying because of the incompetence of the parents. So she thinks all parents are evil like that. They don't care about their children. So the children would be better off if she kills all of them. She doesn't succeed for many reasons, but mostly at the end of the movie, and that's a very, very goofy part, by the way. She gets Mike manages to revive the FNAF1 animatronics, who come to help to rescue Abby, and they fight off the FNAF2 animatronics in some kind of final fight, which is a kind of Deus Ex Machina moment. Like, they come out of nowhere. It seems the situation is helpless, then they come and defeat them. It is a weird plot point, but I can forgive that. What else? Yeah, a few things that are different from the lore, like major things that are different. One, we see that the puppet can possess humans, bodies of humans. Like, she jumps into bodies and then they get this white makeup with tears, like the puppet, and those elongated limbs, and also glowing eyes. And my point, and an important point, by the way, is that she can possess those bodies, jumps into them, but it doesn't kill the people. Later we see that the puppet escapes into another body or into her original animatronic form, and the people are fine, maybe dizzy, but fine, not dead. So that's interesting. But one thing I need to say about this possessed by the puppet form, it's very, very goofy. Honestly, it ruins the horror aspect of the movie completely for me. Like, the movie wasn't really scary in the first place. Well, maybe the teenagers sitting next to me would disagree. There were some screaming kids, genuinely scared, but yeah, the movie isn't actually very scary, especially if you already know the story or FNAF in general. Maybe if you came blind and wasn't, well, if you were a child, that's probably scary, but yeah, for most people, not really. Whatever. But this puppet possessed form, it's goofy. I will show you. That's an even worse choice because that's a short. I don't know why I picked that. I'm kind of dumb like that. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Here. The elongated limbs. Okay, fine. I see where they were going. Like this kind of weird, twisted body, spider kind of walk in a human form. Okay, that's kind of scary. I also see the point of the makeup. It's a very obvious visual that the puppet is possessing them. But the glowing eyes are so goofy. Oh my god, it's kind of like in the first movie, and I'm not sure right now, but I think they also did that in the second movie. Whenever the animatronics became evil, like attacked people, they got those glowing red eyes. That was also goofy, but that was forgivable. This is very goofy. If they just removed those goofy glowing eyes, I think the movie would get immediately better. I don't know, maybe the eyes just look weird without the makeup. With the makeup on, the human eyes just look off. It wouldn't fit. Maybe that's the best solution they came up with, but I don't like it. It looks goofy, not scary. Like, so yeah, you have those goofy eyes. At some point, Abby gets possessed by the puppet, and that's probably the best one. Like, I think that her twisted body is inhuman, giant smile. It looks good on her. The glowing eyes are still goofy, but yeah. And after that, they managed to rescue Abby by using music box. There are actually two music boxes. The first one is in the original pizzeria, but then it gets disabled by some naive people who are used by second mic. I will talk about it in a second. And there is a second music box which Henry gives to the first mic, the brother or stepbrother, perhaps, of Abby. He's like caregiver. I don't know. Whatever. I think he's like stepbrother. Yeah. There's a second music box, and the first mic uses it to calm down the puppet and rescue Abby. And then you have the final fight with FNAF2 animatronics, who get then defeated by FNAF1 animatronics coming out of nowhere in this kind of Deus Ex Machina moment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we see the music box. Yeah, we have a confrontation between Mike 1 and Mike 2, that's also another part where the movie strays from the original plot. We have two Mikes, it turns out. One Mike from the first movie, and also the main character, you could say, of the second movie. Mike, the stepbrother or caregiver of Abby. You could say the protagonist, the good guy. And the second is Michael Afton, who is kind of a follower of his father. He tries to continue his legacy, and he is the brother of Vanessa. At the end of the movie, there's a confrontation, and Mike Afton, the evil one, says like, "Oh, we're always, we will always belong to him," meaning their father. Yeah, we also, and at the end, the good Mike, the stepbrother of Abby, also gets disgusted for whatever reason at this revelation that the evil Mike and Vanessa are related. He says, "Oh, I don't want to work with you, Vanessa. You're weird, off." Basically, it is kind of weird because throughout the movie, Vanessa goes to Sky and beyond. She does everything in her power to help him, to contain the animatronics and so on. She is obviously traumatized because of her father, who tried to kill her in the last movie. So this kind of comes out of nowhere, and right at the end, final scene, and I'd say it's also goofy. We see the puppet possessing. Yeah, that's the evil Mike, the Mike Afton antagonist. Let's say the brother of Vanessa, as opposed to we also have the original, the first FNAF kids going away, like, "Oh, we're going to heaven, don't worry, but look out for Afton."
Just stay away.
Yeah. Here we have the first Mike abandoning Vanessa. Honestly, and yeah, final scene, puppet is possessing
This is the
Vanessa. Yeah. And that's an indication for the next movie. I'd say this scene the final scene again looks very goofy because of those glowing eyes and my creepy smile. Oh, I'm possessed. I wonder what will happen in the next one. Come watch FNAF 3 in theaters next year or in 2 years, kids. It is a bit goofy, admittedly, but in general, I liked the movie. What more can you expect from the funny, evil, scary bear game movie? It is horror for kids, but it's still fun. After that, you have the first credits, whereas it's been so long. Yeah. Or was the second one? It's been so long. Yeah, I think the first one, the first credits have it's been so long. Then you have a post-credit scene, which, by the way, I was sitting there until the very last moment, but some people were going out of the theater, out of the room. And the first ending credits, that's kind of silly. You could expect a post-credit scene. In the case of FNAF movie, I love this kind of lore reveal secrets, so it was kind of obvious to me that they would have a post-credit scene. So yeah, after that So you have the first credits, then a post-credits scene where they go to the original. Yeah, they basically want to create the FNAF 3 attraction, and they discover the remains of the original Springtrap. So that's an indication that the third movie will follow the plot of the third FNAF game. It will be about, this scary attraction with Afton, Springtrap being the main villain. Then you have the second credits, and at the end you have, like in the first movie, some kind of message. I don't remember that. I'm sure you can Google that. It was nothing important, like confide me, like in the first movie, whatever. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, okay. I think that's fine. So as I said, in general, I did like the movie. It matched my expectations. It was similar to the first movie, but maybe even a bit better because it followed the plot of the second game more precisely. I also think we have more lore drops, like some secrets uncovered. Like right now we know that the FNAF2 animatronics aren't possessed. They are just controlled by the puppet, which is who is the only animatronic who is actually possessed by a spirit. We know that the wizard animatronics are separate from the FNAF 1 animatronics. For some reason, they let the FNAF 1 children go to heaven very early in the plot. But yeah, we do see some differences from the games, but in general, if the general route they've been taking so far keeps being true, keeps applying, it seems that the movies will follow each game. So next one will likely be based on FNAF 3 with maybe some changes. One interesting thing I will mention, I don't have a clip of that. I'm sure you can find it easily. I think Game Theory was released like yesterday, mentioning that I get dementia whenever I turn the camera or the mic on, so forgive me, I'm not that stupid usually, that's just camera shyness. But yeah, one thing I will say, there was a dream sequence. In general, in those movies, dreams seem to be quite important as a way to communicate with the paranormal, with the spirits, and also to process trauma. Dreams seem important, and we have a scene where Mike, the first Mike, the good one, recommends Vanessa to use her dreams to get over her trauma about her dad, William Afton. And she does. She enters some kind of lucid dream or some kind of deep meditative state, maybe like out of body experience, whatever. I think it's meant to be kind of supernatural. And she confronts her dad in that like dream sequence, vision, whatever. One important thing during this dream sequence, she becomes her child form, becomes a little child again for a moment, and she enters her childhood room, and in one room we see, and it's literally like 1-2 seconds shot of the circus baby animatronic, and that was honestly one of the best reveals for me, because I really, really like the plot of Sister Location. Honestly, within the context of this movie, I'm not sure what Circus Baby is supposed to be doing there. Uh, it's it doesn't follow, seemingly at least, the plot of the games. Uh, but yeah, we do see the Circus Baby animatronic, and my very first obvious thought, they wouldn't build an entire animatronic just for this 2-second shot. It's quite obvious that we will see Circus Baby in some future movie, perhaps the very next one, though it kind of doesn't follow the game timeline, but we see this kind of syncretism, like parts from later games sometimes get integrated into the plot of the earlier game within those movies. So maybe we will see Circus Baby in the next movie. Maybe we will have an entire separate Sister Location movie. I wouldn't be against that. That would be very nice, I think. Yeah, but I do hope to see more of Circus Baby, her backstory, and in general, I wouldn't complain about the Sister Location movie. Yeah, so I think that's it. I've yapped a lot. I could probably say way more, but as I've mentioned, I just get dementia whenever I turn the camera on. Just my camera shyness is off the charts. If I remember something very important, maybe I will post a separate video or like make a short. I'm considering doing more shorts, because when I get too much, like unlimited time, I just end up yapping so much and going in circles. So maybe the short formula would be better for me, or just having a tight script instead of going off my head. Maybe that's not the best. Maybe that's not the best approach, but we will see. I think this video is already better than the first one and my first attempt at a review of this movie, so I think you will see an improvement. Oops. My camera died here for a moment. So sorry if you get a different angle. But yeah, whatever, I was ending this video, just summarizing. So yeah, as I mentioned, I think I'm doing good improvement. Maybe we will see, whatever. If you want to subscribe, I would be thankful, happy. I do encourage it, because right now probably the videos are painful to watch, but I think I will make good progress over time. I still don't know what the main subject will be for this channel. I kind of hope to just talk about whatever, and I have a lot to yap about, so if you'll subscribe now, you're making a very early investment into a channel that potentially will pay back with great content maybe in the future. Right now, maybe not. It's an early investment, but I do encourage you to subscribe. Yeah. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Just as a reminder, I'm hoping to record a video, or at least a short, every single day. So you can expect a lot of content, not necessarily the best content, as you can already see. But yeah, if you're curious, what will I yap about next? yeah, subscribe, whatever. And if you don't subscribe, that's also fine. Have a have good time on the internet. Enjoy your stay here, whatever. Yeah, have a nice day, night, whatever. Sleep. Bye.